It's a new year, a new season, and we are underway.
Really dominating fashion here today is going to win.
2, 3, 4 for the final time.
Win number 1 of the season, only just barely.
He is going to win here at the Nazareth Speedway.
Wins the Emerson Electric 100K.
Gonna be Igor Barretto's gonna eke it out.
Cup Series champion is Shane Lake in the number 15.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
Last week, it was a wild race at the Homestead Miami Speedway with Marty Johnson taking home the race victory. But this week, we head a couple hours north, still in the state of Florida, but this time at the World Center of Racing, the Daytona International Speedway. This is the second race of the season in the NOFSRL Turkey Hill National Series, the Fresh from Florida 300 here at the Daytona International Speedway. Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and welcome to Daytona for the second race of the season in Season 6 of the NOFSRL Turkey Hill National Series. We are here for 30 laps of action around this 2.5-mile speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida, and this has traditionally been the opening race of the season, but we moved things around a little bit this year, and it's now the second race of the season, but still the biggest and longest race of the season for these guys at 75 miles. And it's a big race for all these guys because they know an opportunity to win at Daytona is here today on this Saturday afternoon. And I have a couple of guys who are going to have an opportunity to win at Daytona tomorrow in the Daytona 500. Nathan Stapleton and Andrew Miller. And Nathan, I'm going to start with you. You have 3 cars, 3 drivers in this race. What do you recommend they do to stay up front, to get to the lead, to win here today in this Turkey Hill National Series event?
Well, my best advice to my drivers is to stay up front, get up front, and stay up front. 2 of my drivers always start up front. One of them starts towards the back. But the way that Daytona works and with the lanes, if you are the first couple cars in each lane, you have the best shot at getting the win late in the race. But all I can say is for everyone else to try to avoid the big one, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when the big one will strike at Daytona.
It definitely is. We saw last night that 4 wide off the exit of turn 4 doesn't work. If you don't know that by now, you've been living under a rock. But Andrew, you're going to be in tomorrow's Daytona 500. Obviously feeling a bit of nervousness for that. But how do you think this race is going to translate into tomorrow's Daytona 500 in style of racing? It's a bit of a different package, but at the end of the day, it's still super speedway racing.
And it's going to be really close because GNS and Cup Physics are very close together. These guys might be able to suck up to each other a little bit easier than the Cup cars, but like you said, this is a lower downforce package, so the suck up might not be as much. It's just going to be a matter of, just like I said in qualifying, which line is going to be the place to be, which line is going to be able to push forward the most. At a track like this, that could be any line, even if it's a 3-wide situation. Once you get a 4th lane going, obviously, like you were alluding to, that's not really going to work well. So just pick your line accordingly. This is less of a race and more of a chess match. So we'll see who can move their pieces in the right configuration.
We're just going to have to see. And if we get that wreck, and we saw it last night in the dual race as well, those lap machines come into effect a lot in terms of the lead pack and who ends up winning the race. And if we get a big wreck, especially kind of midway through the race, and we have those stragglers at the end of the field, and those leaders are trying to get around them, it's a huge chess match on where you go and how you avoid them. That's actually been the style of racing we've gotten for a lot of these Daytona races in the past, including in the Turkey Hill National Series. So very good chance we could see something like that here today. It's the second race of the season, which means we have points already. This is a lineup after the first race of 32 this season. Marty Johnson, your points leader, 45 points towards the championship from his win at Homestead last Saturday night. Daniel Bouchard, Trey Bartow, and Roberto Cram Jr. all tied second in the points, 6 points behind, and Ben Grorich 9 points behind coming into the second race of the season, the Fresh from Florida 300 from Daytona. Gonna go ahead and get these guys to roll off here from the World Center of Racing. And it is an international driver leading us to the green flag here today. Isaac Nichols in the 37. Your pole sitter won the pole yesterday in qualifying. He starts alongside Ben Crouch in the number 44, driving for NS Racing. Row number 2, RJ Bishop to the inside of Ian Siegel. Couple of relatively newer guys. Of course, Bishop has a couple of races under his belt, but Siegel, this is only his second career Napa fan start. Same goes for the guy who's driving the ride that won this race last year, Declan Wellington Turner. He's to the inside of Landon Smith Jr. in the number 51. Dan Park and Priya McShane make up row and number 4. And he was in the booth with us last year. Now he's on the racetrack. Trey Barger to the inside of Mitchell Collins. Collins going to be racing in tomorrow's Daytona 500 with you guys. Should be interesting to see what Collins and Marty Johnson do here today in this one, considering that they're also going to be racing tomorrow. Well, Andrew and Nathan, who do you guys think are going to go to victory lane here in this Fresh from Florida 300 at Daytona?
Well known Ben Crouch from the TRN days back when I was doing offline racing. Ben Crouch, very accomplished, has a championship, and starting up front, I think that he's got a very good shot. He's in very good equipment too, knowing NS Racing. So my eyes on that 44 machine.
I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm gonna say Noah Clifton gets it done. Of course, he's my owner. Me and him co-own our Cup team. He drives my national team, and then NS Racing comes off a very hot truck series season, very consistent. Each truck got a win, so I think NS Racing will be hot this season and here today. But I think Noah Clifton will get the job done.
We're just going to have to find out. Will it be an Aussie today? We've got a couple of them in the field, including our pole sitter, Isaac Nichols, here in the number 37. Alongside Ben Crouch to lead this field. So many faces in this field who can win this race. Who knows how it's going to play out? But we're ready to see how it all goes down. 30 laps of action here at Daytona. Second race of the season is underway. We're green flag racing in the Turkey Hill National Series. Fresh from Florida 300 action. Single file through the top 3 positions, and Isaac Nichols, bonus point towards the championship for him. He leads lap number 1. Here comes Declan Wellington Turner, who was running very strong in that Homestead race last Saturday night, but wrecked out late in the going. He's got to run to the inside of RJ Bishop for second, as here comes Trey Barta, most experienced guy in the field. Him and Elijah Gordon, but still one of the most experienced guys in the field here on this inside lane, trying to make something happen in the 54 machine.
Yeah, I think they're trying to jump in front of the 8 car, who looked like he was the first to try to get the inside line going, and he was jumping down there in a big hurry, so he's looking to try and get that line formed, and now we got 3x3x3 for, it looks like, at least probably the top 12.
Yeah, that's Justin Zidell, your cup owner in the NOFSRL Cup Series. Back in action here in the Turkey Hill National Series season number 6. Great to see him back. And definitely intrigued to see what he can do in this number 8 machine this season for Fisher G Racing. But Trey Barto, a very experienced veteran here. They're all chasing Isaac Nichols right now, and this is a lot of what we saw last year. A guy gets out single file, and there's not as much passing going on. Like I said, this package much different than the Cup package we're going to see tomorrow, and this may very well play into favor for Isaac Nichols here today at Daytona.
It very well could, and right now they can't really catch up to him. But the 76, and never mind, I thought the 76 of Bishop was going to get help from Boto, but Boto decided to go up to the top side. Right now, 3x3x3 from third on bet, but the top 2 are just dominating here at Daytona, and this is what happened last year, and the way it's looking like, it might be the same case if no one can stop the number 37 of Isaac Nichols.
Yeah, I've got to see how this all plays out. There are no pit stops in today's event, so it's a strict race from here on out. No pit stops on the super speedways for these guys, so they got to get to him on the racetrack. Now, there's a good chance we'll end up with a wreck at some point throughout this race, but even sure, Nathan said at the top of the show, it's not if or when, but we have seen these races go green for quite some time. It is a bit asking much. It's asking a bit much to just say to go 30 laps without a yellow, but that possibility is there. But I don't know how well that possibility is because we got a lot of shuffling going on in the middle of the pack. Isaac Nichols is loving what he's seeing behind him because look at the gap he has on this field right now as Bishop shoots down on Landon Smith Jr. That's going to open the door for Barcha to make a move on the outside lane, but Barcha's going to back out of it, think a little bit better of that decision, and allow Bishop to file in ahead of him. Meanwhile, Justin Seidel with a huge push from Ashlyn Boyd on the inside lane, looking to get to the inside of Nichols for the race lead. Nichols has led the first 5 laps of this race, but next time by, we may see a different leader.
Yeah, Seidel also very experienced on the TRN side, and Ashlyn Boyd been around your channel here, Napa Fan, for quite a while, and now taking the lead outright, and that inside line is starting to really come to life.
Yeah, all of a sudden, that inside lane found a lot of momentum. Nichols going to try to work the outside lane here, but here he comes again. Marty Johnson in the number 53. Won last week at Homestead. Finished very well last night in the dual race to advance his way into the Great American Race tomorrow. And here he is running top 5 in the Turkey Hill National Series race at Daytona. Marty has been doing some good things here, and the good thing is, it's not his series, so he can win as much as he wants over here without us calling him out for it, but I'll try to stop that joke here soon, but we got to keep on getting on him for winning his own Daytona 500 last year. Still a big bruh moment in my opinion, man. I don't know. Nichols still led that lap. Ashlyn Boyd to the inside of him right there, and now that outside lane seems to have the momentum with RJ Bishop, Trey Bartow behind the 37 machine.
And with RJ Bishop, I should say he is definitely one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, and with 2 of the fastest cars right now on the racetrack on that top side, they keep on getting a massive run, and for the second straight lap, Bishop is going to help Nichols lead once again.
We have not had a different leader in this race but the 37 of Isaac Nichols. Like I said, when Trey Smith won this race last year, he led 20 laps of the 30 we ran. But Isaac Nichols has far from won this race, especially with all these guys on the inside lane trying to break that draft to get around him. Ashlyn Boyd has been hanging on strong there in that inside lane in the 65 machine for Pacific Racing. Had Brendan Wilmington in the booth with us on Wednesday night and Thursday night. Did a great job calling those races with us. Hope to have him on for some more events throughout the season, maybe even some Turkey Hill National Series events. But his team looking pretty strong right now. They also have Ethan Farley moving his way through the top 10 in that 00 machine. And this 00 won here at Daytona in the August race for the Turkey Hill National Series. So maybe Ethan Farley can keep the streak up here for Pacific Racing here today.
It just seems like we're at the point now where all the lanes are very, very even. It is very difficult to make up much ground. The 55 and the 37 are just in a deadlock right now. Or excuse me, that is the 65. My apologies for that. And Justin Seidel stuck in the middle, 76 stuck on the high side. There's really nowhere to go for anybody, so they're just going to try to push as hard as they can and hope that they just clear at least 1 or 2 guys next to him.
Yeah, for Isaac Nichols, he wants to stay in this outside lane. I mean, we saw last night how that outside lane really comes to effect, and that was with the Cup package. I think with this Turkey Hill National Series package, the outside lane is even stronger, so Nichols in a prime position, but you got to give Ashlyn Boyd a lot of credit, and both of these guys have a lot of experience on that fam. This is Boyd's 3rd straight season here in the Turkey Hill National Series, so he's very used to this style of racing and this package, so no surprise to see him run well here today. And Marty Johnson, he's good. He's won a Meliela Smooth Fest before here at Daytona, so no surprise to see him running up front either. Haven't mentioned this guy yet on the inside lane. That is Joshua Harrison, only a 2nd career Napa fan. Start doing a great job running with the big guns up front here in this one. As Elijah Gordon, the 35, moving up a little bit there in the Ben Grorich, but he's not going to force a 4-wide situation. And we are still 3 wide throughout the majority of the field here at Daytona, so the big question is, if these guys go 4 wide, will they be able to get out of it, and when will they go 4 wide? There's a lot of questions surrounding when that wreck could happen, but if they stay 3 wide like this, they can make it the whole way through, but they got to stay 3 wide.
That's kind of going to be hard, because as the race gets towards the end of the 1 and towards lap 30, they're going to get more aggressive each and single lap, so it's going to be interesting of how long they be calm and how long they stay 3 wide. But I got to mention a boy to Ethan Farley, fellow NIA member, doing his rookie season, I believe, in this series, and he's playing it up with the big boys. Oh, jeez, but it's gonna shove.
Marty ain't playing games here, guys. He moved up. That is 100% on Marty right there in the Justice Zidell and RJ Bishop. And Zidell, you know, Bishop's got to give a line to Zidell if he's going to get out of this 4-wide situation, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Joshua Harrison taking advantage of Marty Johnson moving right up, and Ethan Farley also taking advantage of it as well. This may be it, boys. Lap 12 of 30. Marty Johnson, Justin Zidell off of turn number 4. It's always the trouble spot, and they're going to keep it together for now. Joshua Harrison going to the race lead, bumping with Ashland Boyd. Now Ethan Farley in the middle of all this as well. Farley may make it 4 wide for the race lead. They're still 4 wide back in there between Johnson and Zidell, and the problem is there's no one for any, or nowhere for any of them to go. Now they're going to go 4 wide for the race lead. Harrison up in the Boyd and Nichols. Farley's going to back out of it and not force a 4 wide situation, and I think Marty Johnson may have just gotten out of 4 wide back in there, but now Farley moves up into Zidell. Here comes Elijah Gordon trying to take advantage of that mistake, and this time around, I don't know if they're going to get out of it, but it looks like they will. Zidell finds a position in between Nichols and Bishop, and somehow, some way, they figured a way out of that, and we're still green here at Daytona.
That was absolutely spectacular that they were able to hold it together. Now, I know someone might be thinking, just lift, just try to get out of that 4 wide as soon as you can. Well, you can't really do that because you have a lot of cars behind you. If you slow down, you're going to check out that whole lot behind you. Someone else is going to get impatient. It's just going to cause more problems.
Yeah, and that almost, I mean, we had 3 separate 4 wide situations there, and they got out of each one of them. Great job out of these Turkey Hill National Series drivers. At the end of all that, we now have Joshua Harrison. Isaac Nichols is still up here in this 37. Watch out for him here today in this one. But now Joshua Harrison leading the middle lane, and Elijah Gordon has found his way to the race lead in this 35 machine. 2-time NOFSRL Cup Series champion. Of course, both times he won the championship. It was actually back in the NRLOA days, but still. A 2-time Cup champion here in the Turkey Hill National Series. Probably the most decorated driver in this field. Working this inside lane now with Scott Upton and Stephen Colon in the 80 machine. Julio Caesar there, Micah Knapp as well. A lot of strong guys moving their way through the inside. As next time by, we're already going to be halfway through this race here in the Fresh from Florida 300 at Daytona.
Halfway at the line, and this has been an intense middle section of the race. We saw that 4 wide 3 times, and oh boy, it's contact again, but they're going to settle it back down. Almost a side drive's gone wrong, but they keep it straight. A very interesting race up to this point, but right now, Elijah Gordon, 2-time Cup champion, back-to-back Cup champion as well, going for the race lead. But watch out for Stephen Conan at number 80 and that number 75 of Josh Williamson as well.
It was actually 79 of Julio Caesar there, not Josh Williamson in the 75 machine, but Julio Caesar, you know, he's a veteran. He's been in the Daytona 500 before. As a matter of fact, he started on the front row for the Daytona 500 before, so no surprise to see him run well here in this one. Nichols is starting to lose a little bit of help behind him here, and Elijah Gordon is now out front, and he may be able to clear all these lines. Scott Upton here in the 88 machine. He's in the middle, but Nichols still fighting away on that outside lane. You know, you got to give Nichols a ton of credit here because he has essentially been up front. He hasn't led every lap, but he's essentially been up front this entire race from the pole position. That's how much that pole position meant to Isaac Nichols, and he may possibly go all the way and win this race.
I got to give a lot of credit, like you're saying, to Nichols, because even when he had no help behind him, he was able to get a run on the 35 going into turn 1 that last lap. So, and now help from the 65 going to get him back out to the lead. I think that is going to be insanely difficult to get wrestled away from him at this point. Maybe at 65, but that's about it.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if he can pull it off. Things have calmed down up front, but this race is winding down. Next time by, only 12 laps to go. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, there's always that possibility of this race going caution-free. I don't believe this opening event for the Turkey Hill National Series has ever gone caution-free before. But, you know, I don't know. We can easily go 4 wide. I know that much. Just will it get out of it again if we go 4 wide again? That's the big question. It's still Nichols and Gordon up front, side by side. A couple of Cup veterans from the past up front in this race. Scott Upton here with Stephen Colon on the inside lane. Mike and Knapp, John Enders behind those guys. It's filing back down a little bit to more 2 wide up front at this point. So that may be a good sign. We may end up with a caution-free race here in this one, but this thing is far from over, not even 2/3 of the way through this fresh from Florida 300, but it is going by fast considering we have yet to wreck here in this race.
And right now, they might not crash at all in this thing, but once again, not a good news for the field. Isaac Nichols has managed to get past everyone on the top side, and he is leading and controlling both lanes, and with 11 laps to go, these guys, they have to work together. They have to do 5-6 cars in the line, and they have to work together if they want to pass that number 37. This is like Dale Jr. at Daytona or Talladega, and everyone's trying to get by him, but no one can here in this one, and that's what Nichols is doing right now.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job pacing this field. Ashland Boyd, hey, you know what? Ashland Boyd got a huge run right there. He was able to go single file there for a second, and he's going to try to dart down to the inside and take it right away from Nichols as Scott Upton. Oh, he really goes wide off the corner there in the Joshua Harrison, but they keep it together. Nichols is not going to lead that lap. It's Ashland Boyd with now 10 laps to go here at Daytona. It almost feels like a ticking time bomb for these guys and the possible wreck that we may get, but I don't know, the way these guys have been racing up front, you know, they have been all over the place here today, but I just don't know. They may be able to avoid an accident here, which would be great to see for these guys, but I have a feeling at some point they're going to go 4 wide again, and they will not get out of it. We're just going to have to see how it all goes down. Will Parrish is in the middle of all this. He's going up and down and up and down. He wants to find a good line. He knows he's getting close to the front here. We're going to have to see what he can do. Scott Upton a little bit wide off the corner again there in the 88 machine. But it's Ashland Boyd, Isaac Nichols, side by side again for the race lead.
And right in front of Parrish, I'm keeping my eye on that 11 of John Andrews. He's made some really good moves here on the inside line, now coming up into the top 10 as well. If anything happens up ahead of him, I certainly wouldn't count out John Andrews. I mean, has some experience in these races, and looking strong on the inside, which looks like the place that you want to be if you want to make up ground as far as actually taking the lead.
Oh, here we go, 4 wide. Ryan Asip, Justin Zidell, RJ Bishop. This is a tight one. And then the wall hard through the corner. Zidell and Asip. Bartow involved. Williamson, Clifton, Wellington, Turner back in there. And a lot of guys from the back of the field getting caught up in this one. Asip almost upside down. Ben Grorich involved as well. And there is the dreaded big one here in this fresh from Florida 300.
Man, they took a lick.
That was a hard hit into the outside wall, and most of the time when they're wrecking, it's off of turn 4. Oh, my goodness. Roberto Crown Jr. just came in the Trey Bartow coming down the pit lane. That was a rookie mistake out of the 72, but our first caution of the day late in the going here at Daytona. And that was not a good place for them to wreck at all. Zidell was right in the middle of that. Renan Isip took the worst of that one in the 52 machine. Noah Clifton, Ben Grorich down the pit lane. Joey Hightower with damage in the 25. Josh Williamson's all torn up in the 75 machine. I don't actually see many guys with terrible damage. Just the 4 guys on the pit lane and a couple guys on the track, but you got Priya McShane with some damage there in the 77. That's a tough break for her. But this happened kind of midway through the pack. This was not up front, which helped it not be too big of a wreck, even though it seemed like a pretty big wreck at the time. What a tough break for all those guys involved, and a tough hit into the corner as well. Like I said, a lot of times we see these wrecks out of the corner, not in the corner. And in the corner, it is violent.
Yeah, that hurt that hurt just to watch. And Zidell shooting up the track. I at this point I'm hoping that there's going to be a meeting after the Daytona 500 that he'll actually be there for, because that meeting might happen in the hospital after that one.
Hey, it is just a video game, you know. We treat it as an offline league. I know some leagues kind of do it where, oh, you know, they're injured. No, none of that crap. Justice Idell's fine, given that he doesn't bang his head on his desk too much. I know it could be a little frustrating, but hey, he should be in the booth with us tomorrow for the Daytona 500. We're looking forward to that. He had an interesting moment in this race last year in the booth. I'll remember that one. And a tough break for Brennan Easip too. There, he also took a hard hit, but like I said, they'll be fine. They'll be racing next week, but they won't be in the hot seat next week. That's for sure. As they're going to finish deep in the field for this one. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first and what will hopefully be the only caution of the day here in the Fresh from Florida 300 from Daytona. A massive accident between Justin Zaidel, Brennan Easip, and many others to bring out the caution late in the going here in the second race of the season of the Turkey Hill National Series, season number 6. This one kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, the 4 wide didn't come out of nowhere. We were expecting a wreck, but it happened way earlier than we expected. Brennan Easip up in the Justin Zaidel right in the middle of the corner and hard into the outside wall goes Easip and Zaidel. And then Bartow cuts down in the 54, down in the Noah Clifton and Josh Williamson, and the track is effectively blocked. And we do not see wrecks in the corner that often here at Daytona. Usually it's right off the corner when they begin the straightaway. Priya McShane around, Luke Rainey with damage, Colin Teague, Dan Park in the middle of all that, Joey Hightower, Braden Perez, 73 of Ian Siegel. And we got a couple guys, Roberto Crown Jr., Ben Grorich, right into Easip, almost sent Easip upside down. Not a good ride there for those guys, but I am glad in a way this happened in the back of the pack because all the guys, for the most part, who have been dominant in this race are still in contention for the win. And considering we only have a few laps left, I don't think lap cars are going to become an issue either, but these guys got a lot bigger issues than that, as some of their days are going to end right here at Daytona.
So through 3 and 4, the 52 was trying to give room to the inside, and they just ended up locking wheels with the aid of Zaidel, and that just shot them up in some incredibly hard hits to the outside wall. Somewhat of a lucky escape, I noticed, for Dennis Stryker in the 10, despite spinning the 77. But a pretty lucky escape, but obviously for most of these other guys, not so lucky. Tough break. That's going to knock out a lot of these guys for the rest of the race.
Yeah, Roberto Crown Jr. here at the end. Oh, man. He was going to be fine, and he was coming back onto the racetrack, and he hit Bartow, who was coming down the pit lane. And they may end up ending Bartow's day as well, but that's going to end Roberto Crown Jr.'s day, as Noah Clifton decided to find the glitch on the track. That's unique. Pretend we didn't see that. Let's go on board one driver, and then we'll get back to the racing here with only 4 laps left in the Fresh from Florida 300 at Daytona. On board, Brennan Easip, number 52. He's going to take a massive shot to the outside wall right about here. Oh, boy. And look at all that. Down below. So many guys caught up in this one. And then a hard hit there from Ben Grorich. Tough break for the Filipino native of Brennan Easip in this one, but that's the name of the game here at Daytona. Hey, a lot of these guys who have been dominant in this race are still out there. Let's see which one of them gets it done here in the Fresh from Florida 300 at Daytona. We are back here at the Daytona International Speedway after that massive accident. It took out quite a few guys. You see them there on your screen. Josh Williamson, Noah Clifton, Roberto Crown Jr. came in to Trey Bartow at the end of all that. 76 machine as well. That car driven by RJ Bishop. He was in the middle of that. Trey Bartow, Justin Zaidel, 36 of Ben Grorich, and then the guy who took the hardest hits, Brennan Easip in the 52. The 32 machine, I do believe Dan Park may also be out of the race. I don't think he was involved in the accident, but he is not on the racetrack anymore. So that leaves 31 guys on the racetrack on the lead lap, with Isaac Nichols, Ashland Boyd, Ethan Farley, Elijah Gordon, Julio Caesar, Scott Upton, Joshua Harrison, Mike Knapp, John Aders, Stephen Colomb. The top 10, a lot of very strong guys still in this race, and only 4 laps to go to decide it, so lap traffic should not become a factor. This is going to be a good one here in the Fresh from Florida 300.
And a great jump there for Nichols, but that actually could hurt him a little bit if they get formed up behind him, if Ashland Boyd is able to get a good run courtesy of Farley. Which I'm keeping my eye on that 0-0 too. That driver does not seem to be afraid of anything, especially during that 4-wide situation from earlier. Never seemed to have much remorse for that. So I'm keeping my eye on the 0-0, but also a big run here for Boyd.
Yeah, and like you said, Nichols pulled out to a massive lead, and Boyd was able to draft right up on him and take it right away. So Ashland Boyd going to take it away with 3 laps to go. Elijah Gordon's up here, and you know he's a good driver. I don't know if these guys want him up front. And Ethan Farley going to move to the inside. Farley just doesn't know where he wants to go here. He's trying so much out, he just doesn't know where he wants to go, but he's in a good position. It's only 3 laps to go, and it's Ashland Boyd out front here at Daytona. Gordon doesn't have much help directly behind him, but this outside lane forming up very well, but Boyd is there to lead it down the backstretch.
Well, this might be an irate bias, but I kind of want Farley and Gordon to do good, but if they want to win, and if anyone wants to win, they have to beat the top 2 and beat the fastest 2 cars of the day, Boyd and Nichols, because they've been the fastest 2 cars, but here comes Gordon on the inside, trying to get something to move, but that top side is just so fast.
Nichols may lose a lot of ground here. He tried to go way up top, and Ethan Farley was like, I'm going to take it. And Farley and Boyd, remember, these guys are teammates at Pacific Racing, so they may try to help each other out and battle it out between the 2 of them, but Elijah Gordon's here. They're all trying to get to Ashland Boyd, I should say, in the 65, but they may all be trying to get to Elijah Gordon here in a moment. He's now got some help in this inside lane with Scott Upton pushing him down the backstretch, but Boyd still leading this pack here at Daytona. There goes Gordon, though, to the inside for the race lead, coming to the white flag here at Daytona.
Quick shout out here to Christian Vargas and Julio Caesar out of nowhere now here in the top 10. But this is going to be good up here. I'm giving the advantage to Boyd for the moment. But Gordon, as you said, knows how to get it done. Let's see what he can do.
The problem is there's not as much of a line formed on the inside for Elijah Gordon to advance his position, and Boyd is able to navigate all these lines here at Daytona. Ethan Farley, if he can clear Elijah Gordon down the backstretch, which he very well could because Gordon doesn't have any help, he may have a shot at finding a way around Boyd heading in the turn number 3, but Boyd is all by himself out front in the 65. Isaac Nichols has been up front this entire race. He's going to try some on the outside. Not going to be enough. It's going to be between Farley and Boyd, but Farley's not going to have enough either. Ashland Boyd, veteran of the Turkey Hill National Series, wins the Fresh from Florida 300 here at Daytona for Pacific Racing and Brennan Wilmington.
It was going to come down to probably one of those 2, the 65.
The race is over, my good man.
That's what I was saying. It was going to come down to those 2. I'm sorry.
I'm excited too.
That probably
How
didn't come out
about
right.
1-2 for Pacific Racing there?
Yeah,
Brennan Wilmington. Not only that, their other driver, Christian Vargas, finishing inside the top 10. Hey,
Wow.
Brennan was with us last night. I didn't think he was expecting this here today. Or actually, he was with us Thursday night. My apologies. But how about that? Their most experienced guy, Ashland Boyd, one of the longest-running drivers in this series, gets it done at Daytona. You got to give a lot of credit to Isaac Nichols. I don't think he was anywhere lower than 3rd this entire race, but he couldn't hold it off. Boyd had it the whole way there in those final few laps, and he is going to come home with the race victory here in the Fresh from Florida 300. How about that for Ashland Boyd?
Ashland Boyd was definitely one of the best cars all day long, and you know what? Late in the going, Pacific Racing found each other, and with a lap and a half to 2 laps to go, they found each other. And on that white flag, Farley helped Boyd, or Boyd helped Farley, one of the 2, and they managed to grab a 1-2 finish here at Daytona. And same for Vargas, he got 8th. So that entire Pacific Racing team did a great job. They knew what they had to do to stop Nichols from winning, and they were able to pull off a great one for that team, and just a great race overall here at Daytona.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch. Them able to navigate 4 wide for over a lap earlier on in the running. Only 1 caution, and one of the 2 more dominant cars ends up winning it. A teammate 1-2 there. So big congrats to Ashland Boyd and that whole team. That's really cool to see.
It definitely was a very good race. We did have that one big wreck, but it was nice to see these leaders just go all out for it without any lap car interference, and that was awesome to see. Hey, hopefully we'll see that tomorrow in the Daytona 500. It's a longer race. Cup cars, we saw what happened in the duel on Thursday night. Can't make any guarantees. Take a look here at the rest of the results, and you see all those guys who got knocked out from that big accident. That was a hard lick there for Zidell, Ren, and Esip. Tough break for those guys, but that's just the name of the game when you come to Daytona sometimes, and unfortunately that's just the way it rolls. Marty Johnson finishing 25th. He was kind of caught up in that accident a little bit, so that's partly why he was back in there. See, did anyone who was up front in these points actually have a good day? Daniel Bouchard had a nice day there at 13th, so Bouchard's probably going to be up there in points. But it's still early on in the season, only 2 races done here in the Turkey Hill National Series season number 6, and we're just getting started here. Next week, we head to the Auto Club Speedway, and while we can't go to California in real life, we could go there in NR for the FGM Guitars 300. That's a Thursday night event at the Auto Club Speedway for the 3rd race of the season for the Turkey Hill National Series. And, of course, tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, it is the Great American Race in the NOFSRL Cup Series, the Daytona 500. I'm going to go ahead, since both of you guys are in the race, Nathan and Andrew, how do you think it's going to play out tomorrow in the biggest race of the season for the Cup Series?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot like this race. I think some people might be able to pull away and dominate, but I think we will see a couple big ones, a couple crashes, and I think we could see teammates once again work together late in the going and get the job done. Hopefully it's me and Joe White. No, I'm just kidding. But I think it could play out a lot like this one, but who knows? This Daytona, anything can and will happen.
I mean, of course, I'd be happy to be in Ashton Boyd's situation at the end of the race tomorrow, but that's obvious. But I think what I'll be keeping my eye out for is those cars are a bit bigger, so I don't think that a 4-wide situation would work as well as it did here tonight. These cars were a little smaller, but you know that pretty much everyone in that race will not be holding back. I know I won't be, so I think there's going to be some craziness, even more so than tonight. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely tune in for that, and I'm looking forward to it. Good luck to everyone.
Yeah, tomorrow, noon Eastern Time, right here on AG Racing, the Season 10 NOFSRL Cup Series Daytona 500. Alexander won the race last year. We'll have to see what he does in this year's event. Well, either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, stick around on FS1 at 5 p.m. for the Beef 300. Hey, you thought our name was bad? The real life one's sponsored by Beef. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Ashland Boyd, your winner here in the Turkey Hill National Series at Daytona. Like I said, this Thursday night, I should say, it is Auto Club for the Turkey Hill National Series season number 6, and that'll do it here for today from Daytona International Speedway. Here are the points for the Turkey Hill National Series after 2 races. On behalf of Nathan Stapleton and Andrew Miller, congratulations to Ashland Boyd, and I will see you guys tomorrow at noon Eastern Time for the Daytona 500. I will see you guys later.
See you guys.